Um, Good evening. Thank you for being here. This is a wonderful thing that we're going to talk about. Ministry and ministry together. Ministry here and ministry a lot of miles away. I don't know how many miles away Guatemala is.
I can ask.
It's a lot. But before we do anything, there's two things we need to do. One is pray and want to celebrate. So I want to pray first and we'll celebrate second. God, thank you for today and for opportunity to gather together and to have conversation about plans and ministry and support and things. God, I just pray that you are here, that you speak to us, Lord, that you guide us, that you guide our conversation, that you allow us to give good information so parents and students can discern and plan on their participation and God, their understanding of what it is that you are calling our student ministry and our church to do to help support ministries that are happening in Guatemala. God, we give this night to you, for it's in Jesus' name we pray, and everybody said, Amen. The second thing we need to do is to celebrate. We have a birthday, and somebody is spending their birthday at a Guatemala informational meeting. And so, Emerson, we're going to sing a very fast happy birthday. Happy birthday to you, birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Emerson, happy birthday to you. A little birdie just told me we have another birthday here, too.
Oh.
Is it your birthday?
No?
Did I get told wrong information? No? Becky says it's your birthday. Is Becky wrong, or are you wrong? Oh, Becky? I'm trying.
Just turned 50, but a long time ago. She turned 50. Like a whole year. No. Well, she's 50.
Becky! I was trying to get you to say, yes, it's my birthday. But you can't help it if it's not your birthday. So, Becky, next time somebody's going to say it's your birthday. It's a birthday year.
2,000 miles. It's 2,267.
I've just been told that it's 2,000 miles from here, so let's go. Here tonight with us is David and Faviola Alvarez, and they're here 2,000 miles away. Here spending time with us, and they've been staying at our house, Heather and our house, since Saturday, and I deliver them to their next destination tomorrow morning, and we've been very grateful that they've been here with us and share with us, and just very honored to have them as friends. But while they were here, important to take advantage of an opportunity for you all to hear from me, and more importantly, I think from them, about ministry partnership and specific our opportunity to travel to see them and spend a week with them in June. I'm gonna talk a little bit, and then I'm gonna ask you to clarify what I say, because I've been known to be wrong. But I want to give us some context about why we do this. Why? I get that a lot. I get that a lot from people in our church. Well, why do you take students away on mission trip? Why do you go away? Why do you do that? There's plenty of work to be done here. There's plenty of missional opportunities to be done here in our own backyard, which we do, which we have Hometown Mission Week, and we do through the year. And we're blessed to be a part of a very mission-minded church that takes that very seriously. But a couple of things come to mind. One, why we do this is to expand limited perspective. Sometimes here in the United States, it's important for us to, it's important for everybody, but we have a struggle sometimes letting God push us outside our comfort zone. And this is an opportunity where we can do that. We can talk about building a house. We can talk about painting, and that's very different in places other than here. That whole process is very different. Visiting a sick person in Guatemala is very different than visiting a sick person here. Very honestly and very candidly, and David can probably tell you some more about this in his context, but poor means different things in different places, right? Poor means different things in different places. Poor is still poor, but there's a difference between poor and hopeless. There's a difference between poverty and hopelessness, and that is why. That's one of the reasons why we do this, is because it's this opportunity and opportunities like it are not just trips to see the world, but they're trips and opportunities to see the world differently. There's a difference there. Sometimes we think that this is a trip to see the world. No. It's a trip to see the world differently. Another reason why I believe that we need to do this is to become and live as more grateful people. A lot of times we'll go away and students will come away and I'll ask them for their big takeaway, and they'll say, well, I've learned to be more grateful for what I have. You've heard that before when students come. They say at the end of the trip, now I understand and I realize what I have, and I'm more grateful for it. And I try to very gently nudge that a little deeper. And I think that's a really good thing for students to understand the blessings that they have, but then to follow it up with the question of, okay, now what do I do? I understand and I realize the blessings that I have, but now what do I do? How do I make a difference? How can I help? How can I change? How can I be a difference maker? So that's another reason why. Another reason why is to build relationships and partnerships. I'm very honored and very blessed to have a friend who lives 2,000 miles away, and we talk through the year, and I talk to his family, his son Byron and I are friends, and we've been friends for a long time. And those types of relationships can happen when we do this type of thing together. To overcome fears, there's a lot of things about mission work that push us out of our comfort zone, and I'm a big believer in this, that it's going to push students out of their comfort zone. We're going to ask them to pray. We might ask them to pray in a different language, because I know that there are many students who take 3 years of Spanish in high school, and they struggle to put it to good work, and we will put it to good work here. Some students, for the first time, they fly. That could be like a little thing to some people, but it's a big thing to other people. Eating new foods. I will tell you that we have picky eaters on trips from time to time.
I know.
And this is an opportunity to kind of overcome that fear. And there's a lot of things that we'll eat on this trip that we don't eat other places. And I love that, because that pushes us outside of what we know and what we do. And allowing ourselves just to do new things, to put ourselves out there, to open our heart up. Those are all important things that are really great things for teenagers to have an opportunity to experience. And then the last reason why we do this is just because Jesus tells us to. The Great Commission wasn't just a Great Commission to our own backyard. The Great Commission was a Great Commission everywhere. And that is important to me, very important to me, that we understand that it's not us that is bringing God elsewhere, but us going and meeting God somewhere else. And that is important, I think, for us, whether we are young or old. David, can you tell us in a small amount of time, what is the organization that you help to lead, and what are some things that you think parents and students ought to know?
You know that primarily we are a church, and I want you to understand that everything that we do is for the kingdom of God. We are a church, and we want to spread the gospel everywhere that we go. Just we try to be a gospel, to don't be full of words. We like to do in our organization side that the love of God be more practical than more theory. But we are a church, And I think the most important thing that God called us to do with this ministry in the villages, that we will be the ministry that you will be helping us. You will be in one of our services at church in the city too. You will meet the people of the church. Of course, for the church, it's important that they see you working next to us, because this always means for us a hug from God. Every time that we see a team coming into the church, it's like God said, "Here I am. Don't worry. Keep going." And this is for the church. But if we watch the other side too, is when we try to the churches, even us, put in practice the thing that we learn at church, is to share the love of God. I think that is all about it. That every people that you see, every people that you touch, every kid that you play with, they can feel God through you. This is important for us, because even for the people in Guatemala, it's not anyone to want to say, "I want to go the weekends." We go every weekend to the villages to work with the kids, every single weekend. And it's not like anyone can go. Sometimes the family of the members of the church said, "I would like to go." Well, we let today go like a visitors once. But they cannot come, because it's not about the food. It's not about to serve food. It's not about to put concrete in the floor. It's not about to see the tree. It's not about to open a new vegetable garden or whatever you come to do. It's about God use your life for show them how much God loves you. And for you can do that, you need to understand why you are there. And I think that is the most important part. And you will see, don't be scared about, I don't know if I can do that. You can do it. And it's very simple. It's just smile, a touch,
Kick a soccer ball.
kicking a soccer ball, all of this. If you do with the right heart, the kids will feel that God is close to them. So that is, I think, the most important part.
Some things that I know that you can expand upon. David talked about the church. They pastor a church, and the church is one side of the coin, and the other side is a 501c3 called Raising the Children of God. And they partner with 14 villages. I don't know how many are Rio Dulce, 7 or 8.
8 in Rio Dulce and 7 in South.
We will be headed to Rio Dulce on the eastern side of the country, and we'll be working with some of the villages that they partner with every week. But their church and their organization, they do about 500 breakfasts every morning in both areas together. They feed about 2,000 kids per week, and it's about 30,000 meals per month. So their church is about 250 people, and along with teams, that's what they are accomplishing. They're feeding and taking care of and giving health care to and providing ways to education. For 14 villages, 2,000 kids, 30,000 meals per month. So
it's a lot of work. We are busy, believe me.
They've been hosting teams for over 20 years.
Yes.
Maybe more than 30.
No, about 21 years.
Most pre-COVID, you'll see 20 teams per year.
Yeah. 19, we have about 23 teams. 2020, we just have 6 because 4 already was there before COVID. In 21, we have 2, and in 22, we will have 3 because the next Saturday come the last one.
Yeah, but that's slowly building, and we're having more teams come. Yeah.
I hope the next year we will, if not come back to the normal amount, close at least.
Yeah. One of the things that makes this special too is that their church has small groups that they call cell groups, and when a team comes, a cell group will attach to the team and travel with the team and go and be with the team in villages and help with work and food, feeding the team, feeding our team, but also translation, security, things like that. So we get to spend time and learn from people all week. And that's really special for us because I can remember people from every cell group that I've ever been on. And then when I go back, it's a different cell group, but I see the same people that I went a year or two ago. I see them at church on Sunday in the city, and we remember each other and catch up. And so that's a wonderful thing and a way to build relationships like we were talking about earlier. There's a lot more information about CCCG and raising the children of God on a website that I'm more than happy to share with you. If it's not on the paper, I can certainly make that available. cccguatemala.com. cccguatemala.com. And there's a lot of information on there about feeding program and villages and things like that. Some nuts and bolts things that we need to know in preparation for our trip. Passports, and you'll see this on your FAQ type paper here, the first page. Passports right now are $165. That's for a new passport. If you're renewing a passport, the fee's cheaper. You don't have to pay the registration, but it's taking 4 to 6 weeks, and that's probably on the low side. I would anticipate it taking longer, considering where we are and labor shortage and all of that. If that is something that you have to work out, I would highly encourage you to go ahead and start working on that now, because when we were supposed to go in 2020, passports were taking. Liza, you had to deal with that. Passports were taking a long time. Yes. Yeah, long time. And obviously that's through the State Department website. It's not a hard process. It's just pretty thorough. It requires you to send some information in and then get that all back. If you have questions about how to do a passport, I'm happy to help you with that. Shots and vaccinations. Every PCP would probably give you a slightly different answer, but here is kind of the sweet spot of what I hear from PCPs. It's Hep A and malaria, and malaria medicine comes in all different kinds of shapes and forms, and there's the pill form and the shot form, and some pills you take this many days and some you take this many days. So you just need to talk to your PCP about that. It's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. Need to be up to date on your tetanus, which every kid should be up to date on tetanus. Right now, I know we have different feelings on COVID, but there's not a COVID vaccination required to enter the country. So whether you're vaccinated or not, anybody will be able to be in the country. You want to talk about COVID in country at all?
Yeah, I think we are completely back to the normality. Just a few weeks before I travel in this trip, Guatemala opened 100% the borders for any person to want to come, no restrictions, no vaccination requirement, no test. You don't need to go through any tests and nothing. It's completely open, and we have cases still showing up, but it's very low. We said that yesterday we have just 425 people with COVID in the country. As it's very low, and like the COVID came to stay with us. They will stay. Will be like have a cold, but it's very under control and really is not bother us. In the village that we will be, the people over there have a lot of high resistance. We don't have, from all our villages, all of them, I would say the 100% of the members of the village get sick, but with a very mild cold. That was the COVID hit them. They don't really have issues with them. And we have through 2021 and 22, 5 teams to come and work with us in the villages, and we don't have any issue with any of the members of the teams to come through COVID to work with us.
Safety, David and I were just talking about this. We were at dinner with another member of our church, and just like anywhere else, there's places that we'll go, but then places that we don't go. And we're very careful about that. And David and his team, they have, after doing this for 20 years, it's pretty
safe. Guatemala is like any city. in Guatemala City. Guatemala City, you don't will stay too long in Guatemala City.
Yeah.
Guatemala City is a city of 7 million people. So like you know, it's big city. There's any big city are good places and are very bad places. The goal is never go to the bad places. And of course, we will be with you all the time. And like I told you, always will be somebody with us, with you. We will be picking you in the airport. You just come out of the airport, and our welcome team will be there waiting for you. You will jump in our vehicles, and from there, will be for yourself until we put you back in the airport. When you cross the gate of the airport, we are free. That all the rest of the time, somebody will be with us. Some recommendation, like in the village is less. The village is very safe.
Yeah.
You can walk in the villages 100% sure that nothing will happen, but always will be somebody of us with you in case communication and another thing, but that something can happen you in the village. It's remote. I don't will say nothing, but you never know. Yeah. But we have, like I told you, 22 years working with teams, and never we had that issue. Never, any kind.
I get a lot of questions about food, about what we eat, and again, after doing this for 20 years, teams pretty much have it down to a science about what, especially unfortunately, I would say what American teams will eat and what they don't eat. They're pretty.
We try to give, of course, our flavors, our food, because it's part, I think, of the experience. We will have some American food in your diet. For you, don't forget that you are Americans. But we will have a lot of Guatemalan food. Of course, the standards of cooking and cleaning in our teams always is high. We always recommend to the people to eat just the food that we give. Right. Of course, in the streets are very good food. Believe me, it's very good food, but kind of dangerous. You don't will die. If you get sick, we can fix you quick. But sometimes you make the rest of the team feel uncomfortable. And
we will not be eating street food. I'll just go ahead and say that.
Yeah. We will take care of you. We will take care of you. Everything that we will cook in some way.
Even down to the ice that we put in our water bottles, and we have at restaurants. All the restaurants that we go to, David and his group make sure that they know that the ice is pure water. It's good water. There's nothing wrong with it. We carry water around with us, pure water.
With ice.
Will
be hot. You will be if you don't. You need to drink. You need to drink a lot all the time. Will be warm, and you need to drink. We always suggest to the teams to bring some Gatorade, powder Gatorade. Yeah. I know the people don't like too much, but it's not for pleasure. It's needed. Because if you can add to your bottle of water some electrolytes, always will be good. You will see over there the sun hit different. United States than Guatemala. Yeah. And you will feel it over there.
Accommodations, it's not the Holiday Inn, but it's okay. In each area where the villages are, there's a retreat center, and the retreat center is gated, gives us some privacy. There's a kitchen, meeting room, bunk rooms, showers attached to the bunk rooms. In both places, a swimming pool. To relax with, and it has everything that we need, and it's perfect for us.
Remember that the swimming pool for us is not a luxury. After you be working 5-6 hours under sun, working hard, believe me, we always ask to the teams, sit in the swimming pool 10 minutes. Just go and sit and relax for 10 minutes. This cool down that you will receive is very important for your body. Believe me, it's important. Because after you will go to take a hot shower, that I don't understand that very well still. We try to don't have hot water because it don't make sense. You will get sick. You get sick. It's warm, working all the day hard, and after a hot shower, it's like It's good to go to the swimming pool and just sit, relax 10 minutes. That will help you for the next day.
Mode of transportation most of the time is school bus or equivalent to our church vans. That's how we get around. Communication, I always quick to point this out that I always have my phone on me and always with an international plan. Ellen, I think last time that you went, you had your phone with you all the time with the international plan. This is a trip, though, where we ask students to put phones away for parts of the day for a lot of reasons, but one is in villages, sometimes cell phones disappear, whether it is our team that loses them or somebody thinks that they're a toy, so we just alleviate that. But then also we want to be together and we want to be looking up and looking at people instead of down, and I promise you, people think that now where I sit and students think that I'm silly and that I make this up, but at the end of the week, I always hear, it was so great to not be attached to my phone all the time. Every trip, every time, it happens every time, and so I really hate, and I try not to say I told you so, but sometimes it slips out. But usually at some point every day, we have the ability to be on Wi-Fi and we can quick check-ins home. I don't promise every day because sometimes when we're out in the country, the power or the internet or a combination of the two doesn't allow us to do that. But typically it's just about every day. And then we have the ability to do, like those of you who are with us in Alaska, some type of blog, update vlog, which I thought was really well received. So we'll plan to do that again. Dates, of course, you have them on your paper, but the dates are concrete. And they are concrete because I've already purchased plane tickets, so they will not move. These are the dates. It's June 23rd through July 1st. We'll have departure here on Friday, June 23rd at 10 a.m., and then return July 1st on Saturday in the evening, early nighttime, 8, 9 o'clock, depending on how fast we get out of the airport. If our flight is, I hope not, but if our flight is delayed, so those are the dates, and they won't change. There's a schedule that thankfully David and Faviola were here, and we were able to kind of put some bones around the schedule. You'll see it there, second page and third page. But Friday we'll meet here. We'll go to Atlanta. We have a connection in Dallas. Arrive Friday night. Go straight to the hostel where we'll stay overnight. On Saturday, we have a little bit of time to spend just getting to know Guatemala a little bit. We'll be able to go to the capital, to Zone 1, where there's the Presidential Palace and the Cathedral, National Cathedral, on the square there. And that's a neat kind of first thing to do when we get there. We'll also get to go to the church, get to meet some people in the church, have some meals at the church, begin to think about why we're there and what we're here to accomplish. And then overnight, one more night, wake up, go to church on Sunday morning at CCCG. It is a different experience than we have here.
Very different.
Fair. And that also is usually one of the highlights of students who come on trips with CCCG and with teams is they love morning worship on Sunday morning at church. That's one of the most popular answers that you get is church. After church, lunch, and then hop on the Yellow Submarine and head to Rio Dulce. Spend Sunday night. Monday and Tuesday are similar days. We go to a village. Villages are anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes away. We'll do our projects in the morning. Our projects are probably going to be putting a concrete floor into a home or a garden or a tree We're working on something that I've never done before, which is part of our team to be a medical team. And we're going to bring some medical personnel with us, doctors and a nurse, some translators, and we'll set up a clinic in 3 villages and do basic health care for people in villages. And so that's going to be a lot, but it'll be okay, right?
Yeah, I think you have a very good group of people coming, and we want to take advantage of this good amount of people coming.
Yeah. And so we'll do clinic, lunch, and then in the afternoon we do what we call VBS. No, it's different than our VBS. VBS there is some kind of lesson and games and crafts. I guess it's not that much different. Lessons and games and crafts. It just looks different because I was going to say it's organized chaos, but it's organized chaos here too. But that
We'll be outside.
Yeah. Maybe that's the difference. It'd be outside. But that's one of the things that David was talking about, where we really find how God moves and tugs at your heart is when you are able to hold hands with a kid who does not speak the same language as you do, but you share the same love of God.
And you will see the kids of the village always try to be around you. In the morning, maybe they will be in the school, but when they just come out of the school, or sometimes the school are not running, they will always like to be around you, whatever you are doing. If we do a concrete floor, you will see a lot of kids around you, watching you, just want to see you work. I don't know, they enjoy you there. This is the moment that you can be the instrument of God for show how God loves them. The people to come from so far came to be with them in a small village in the middle of nowhere. Believe me, they understand that and they enjoy that. And in the afternoons, you can get close to them and have an experience with them.
Yep. Every night back at the retreat center with dinner, worship, devotion, relaxation for a little bit. It usually does not take much to get people to go to bed at night. Usually that's pretty good sleep. Wednesday, similar schedule to a different village, clinic, projects in the morning, lunch, and then time for a short little fun activity, and then a short VBS and back to the retreat center. Thursday morning, wake up, help to do a feeding program in one of the villages early in the morning. Feeding programs start in the village at 6 a.m., so it means we're leaving at 5 or sometimes earlier to make sure we get there and the food is cooked and ready for kids before they get to school, and then hop on the bus and come back to Guatemala City. And I think that there's plans to stop at a Mayan ruin on the way back for a very short pit stop to stretch our legs and walk around for a little while. And then back to the city overnight. On Friday, it is a like a recap. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a unpack day of what all has transpired. There's an opportunity for us to go to Antigua. Antigua is a fun, touristy kind of city where there's some museums and places to purchase souvenirs and things like that. So we'll do that in the morning and maybe get lunch there. But then after, head back to the church where we have conversations about what now. And that night is probably my favorite night, where people begin to share what that week has meant to them. That's always my favorite thing. And then overnight on Saturday morning, flight is at 10:30, I think, in the morning. So a nice mid-morning flight, and then back here whenever U.S. Air gets us back. American Airlines. American Air. Whenever they get us back. How do I sign up? That's my next thing. How do I sign up? These are the days that you need to know. We're doing this like we've done Winter Retreat and some other things that we've done recently, January 9th. So there's still a long time to consider everything that you're hearing and to have conversations. So January 9th is our one-day price, and that's $999 for the whole thing. And I heard somebody say that's cheap, and I would say yes. And I'll tell you very honestly, that's because we have a church that believes in what we do. And I'm very proud to say that there's funds available to us to help make it a relatively affordable trip when you think about where we're going and what we're doing. And so I always like to tell people that we're able to do this because of a church that believes in things like this and believes in our student ministry, to be quite honest. But the very next day, the price goes up $100. Why I do that is because it's a help for us to know who is in. It helps us to plan. It helps us to figure out, and I want to reward people that are making plans early and that are going to commit early, because that helps me so much in the preparation for us to go. And honestly, our pre-trip meetings start the very next month. We're going to have pre-trip meetings once a month in February, starting in February, and to know that our team is assembled by January is a big help to me, because then I can plan our pre-trip meetings, and those are so vital and important to what we do and to getting to know each other, because there's in the world of mission work, from our perspective, it's very difficult to just show up at the airport and not know anybody, right? And so these pre-trip meetings are very important because they help our group to bond and to get to know each other before we step on the airplane, so that our week will be even better when we get there. So that I would encourage you to sign up on the one day, January 9th. That will be helpful to everybody. There's a payment structure. There's the down payment to register, and then there's payments in increments of $250, $375, and $375. So we spread it out. And then there's opportunities to fundraise. There's the yard sale in the spring in March, an opportunity to work that and earn money towards that. If you have yard sale money now, you can apply that to our mission trip. And so there's opportunities of like upwards of $150 to $200 right there in the yard sale, just in the yard sale, to earn money towards trips. There's also writing letters. Christmas is coming, and I can think of very few things that would be more meaningful than helping a student get to Guatemala as part of their Christmas present. And so if that is interesting, maybe start talking to grandma and grandpa, aunts and uncles and friends, and saying, hey, look, I'm not sure if you know what to get Johnny for Christmas, but he really wants to go to Guatemala, and it would mean a great deal if instead of Christmas present X, Y, and Z, help him get there. And so that's another way to do it. The other is writing letters. You can write letters. I have form letters, and most of you have probably seen those before. If you're comfortable with doing that, that's an excellent way to raise funds as well. Ellen, what am I missing?
As far as fundraising?
Or anything. I see the packing list on the back side on page 4. Yeah, before I get there, expectations. Because of this trip, I have higher expectations of our team. One of those expectations is we want you to be involved in what we do. It just in general, in a very general sense, I just want to know that you are involved here, and that doesn't necessarily mean Sunday nights, but that's a good way, a good way that we know that you're involved. Sunday morning, Sunday school, small groups, mission work. I just want to know you're here. And I don't have there are some youth pastors who say, look, in order to go on our mission trip, you have to be here 80% of the time, and they keep track with gold stars. And I don't do that. I don't want to do that because I don't want to be that legalistic about it. I'm just here to say, I'm expecting you to be here. Whatever that means for you, I just want you to be present here, and I want to know that you're in. Another expectation is these pre-trip meetings are required. They are required. Life happens and things come up. Again, I'm not going to be gold star about it. I understand that things happen. There might be things on the calendar already, and that's something that we can work out. But, and I'm talking to the students in the room, and you can tell the other students who aren't in the room who want to go, I need time to do my homework is not a reason. I have to work is not a reason. I have family dinner. That's not a reason, because I'm asking you for 4 meetings before we go on an experience that will change your life, and I'm giving you the dates ahead of time, and so I expect that we are there. And I don't think that's too much to ask. I certainly hope it's not. One of the other expectations is to be able to come back and communicate to our church who is helping to send you. And so there's always a day where we arrange for that to happen. And some of us, I don't know, maybe there were a few of you who went to some Sunday school classes and talked about our trip last year to Alaska, and that was really helpful. And I can't tell you the number of people from that Sunday school class that I'm thinking of in particular that emailed me and said, 1, I'm so impressed with your students and the way they spoke, and 2, I'm so proud of our church. And so those moments where you come back and you say thank you and you say here's what happened, those are so important and so impactful. And so that's an expectation that I have too. And then the other is that everybody's going to have a job on the trip. Everybody's going to have a job. Everybody's going to have a role. If it's VBS, or if it's translating, or if it's helping with the medicine, or if it's washing dishes or praying before, everybody's going to have something to do. And I'm going to have something to do. Ellen's going to have something to do. Everybody, adult, student, everybody. So we all have to go into that mindset together. There's a packing list it's pretty straightforward. One thing that I'll say is please do not bring anything on this trip that if it does not make it home, you're upset. I leave a lot of my clothes there. I leave a lot of stuff there. My suitcases are very empty when I come home because clothes get dirty, and also I don't need them, and they can be helpful to somebody else. So work clothes, 1 pair of church clothes on Sunday morning that can double as travel clothes probably, a swimsuit, shoes and flip-flops are helpful, sunscreen is a definite, hats and sunglasses are good, but please don't bring your Ray-Bans that you got for your birthday. Not a good idea. Toiletries, everything's got to be smaller than 4 ounces. One towel. We don't get to have like a swim towel and a bath towel and a face towel and a other towel in case one of those gets dirty. It is 1 towel. 1. A water bottle is an absolute necessity. We'll probably carry more. Snack foods, like a few snack foods. I gain weight on this trip, and I'm not kidding. They take care of us so well, and there's really hardly ever a need for snacks. But if there's something that you absolutely must have, David really likes beef jerky, so if you bring beef jerky, bring some for him. Yes. Stewart's root beer.
Stewart.
Yeah.
Just the thing that I don't get in Guatemala. Okay?
York peppermint patties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have good things here.
Talk about Costco.
Yeah. I went to Costco. I always go to Costco in the trips, but I don't know, this year, I don't know, maybe I pay more attention about all this food. And most of the food looks good, no? And I said, I would like to try each one of these food, one by one, to make my choice, which is the better. But when I count or begin to count this, I noted that I will have many years just to trying every day a different one. And I said, there's no way that I can do that. I would trust in Aaron decisions. You have a lot of food, a lot of choices, many, many, many things. We was just to watch the Oreos.
We went to Kroger, and David stopped in front of all the Oreos, and he looked at me and said, "There are so many different kinds."
I think in Guatemala we have two, maybe. You have a lot of choices. I mean, it's good. It's good. But if you want to bring snacks, bring and left in my home.
I get a lot of questions about spending money. There's opportunities to do a little bit of souvenir shopping, but everything that we need is taken care of. And so spending money is pretty minimal. I always say $50. $50 is plenty. But that's between students and parents. Medicines that you personally need, a small flashlight's helpful, Bible is necessary. Listen to this, your plans for your devotion that you are going to do for our team. So you'll need whatever you need for that. Optional thing is a cheap watch. You might decide that you want to leave your Apple Watch at home, and so a good cheap watch is a good thing to have. And then another good optional thing is a small, like, drawstring backpack to put your water bottle and a light jacket and some other little things in, sunscreen, bug spray, that kind of thing. A little drawstring is a good thing to have. Packing, and those of you who went to Alaska, this will be similar. I'm going to ask you to pack everything in a backpack and a carry-on. Okay, a backpack and a carry-on. We're not going to Alaska. We're going to Guatemala, and our clothes will be pretty light. So we shouldn't have a whole big problem getting everything into a backpack and a carry-on. Probably a suitcase for every 4 people, so that we can take medicine, donations, sheets and towels that we're going to donate to the retreat center. David needs us to bring some towels and sheets that we can leave there, and all that stuff we need to bring in our suitcases. And so if it means that I need to sacrifice bringing 2 pairs of jeans instead of 3 in order that we can bring some sheets and towels, I'll do that. And it's okay to wear the same. I know it's weird and gross. It's okay to wear the same clothes more than one time. I've done this before, where we have provided bug spray and hand sanitizer for everybody, because that's an easy thing for me to do, just to order it on Amazon in bulk and have it here and have it ready, and everybody can just write their name on it and carry it with them. That way we're sure everybody has it. And then don't pack anything you'd be upset about not bringing home. It happens every year. Somebody brings their really nice rainbow flip-flops and they get cement on them. I'm making that up, but then they're really upset that they don't get to bring it home or that it's ruined. And please don't do that. David, when teams come, what are some things that they leave with? And I'm not talking about souvenirs.
They bring from here to over there, or they purchase there for bring?
No, I'm saying when a team leaves Guatemala after the week is over, what are some things that they always remember?
Oh,
What are some things that they tell you and that you notice? And what's the difference between Johnny before and Johnny after?
It's different. But I will try to talk about the youth, that this will be mostly a youth team. I think the most important that I've been noted is that they release how blessed you are in the United States. America is a blessed country. You have many things that not all the countries have. And I think the most of the youth find out that when they are over there. The second thing that I've been noted is the happiness of the kids in the villages. Because, like Aaron was saying in the beginning, they are poor, but they are happy. and many of the people here have everything are not happy. And I think it's something that they find out very interesting in the kids in the villages, because you will see those kids don't have nothing. But you will see them how they enjoy it. When you get there, a simple toy that you bring, a simple plastic ball, when you play with them, they will enjoy that ball. And I think this is other things. When you go with the largest heart, or when you are trying to be more deeper and see what you see over there, is you can find the mercy of God in you. How God is being very merciful with the life of the Americans. And that brings to the people a spirit of thankfulness. And I always say to the people, don't be sad because some people begin to feel, wow, we have too many and these kids don't have nothing, and begin to feel kind of guilty. And I said, it's not about to feel guilty, it's about to feel blessed and enjoy the things. Because you have too many things that you don't have time for enjoy it. So you need to take time for enjoy it a little bit, the things that you have. Because I think those are the most things that the people talk about it at our last meeting.
I have one more thing to share, but I'll wait to share it until after I answer some questions, because I know you probably have them. What are some questions that anybody that you have? I know I didn't cover everything. I couldn't have. Yeah.
Hey, Aaron, what's your budget per number of people, adults and kids that are planning to go?
I have 45 plane tickets.
That was simple.
Yeah, that's all I got. That's all they would give me. Yeah.
Are mosquitoes as bad?
We were just in Alaska, and I would say that the mosquitoes were worse there than they will be here. I know that might be hard for you to believe.
We have IV words here.
Yeah. What else?
Pretty thorough.
Really? Wow.
That was easy.
Man. Yes.
The phone thing, is it easier for some kids just to not go bring a phone at all?
You're speaking my language.
I mean, I would think, I'm just saying not to have to fight that battle. You talked about how at the end of the week it was a blessing. How many kids say it was a blessing? And my point is this. My point is to not have to fight that internal battle throughout the week of continually checking and going to that phone.
Yeah.
I'm asking the question. You've been there, I haven't.
Yeah. But to be very candid,
Yes.
I would love to do that. I would love to do that. Let me say it one more time. I would love to do that. Unfortunately, we have reached a point in society where there are some parents, and I'm okay with this because I'm a parent too, but there are some parents who need to feel like they can reach their kid. And I respect that. And so I don't want to draw a line in the sand and tell everybody no. I can encourage the use of cell phones to be minimized and tell them all the reasons why. And that's my job as a pastor, is to say, here is the evidence that I have to tell you why this is important and why this is what I would really love for you to do. But parents and students need to make that determination on their own. But I will support a parent who says, you know what, we'll just leave your phone here. I'll support you 100%. But I won't draw a line in the sand. And we've just
I'm not asking you to draw a line. I'm just saying
yeah,
that could be helpful.
yeah, 100%.
To not even have to have
100%. But I think everybody understands. My position, where I'm not going to say absolutely no.
Well, and this trip I think is a little different than like Alaska. Alaska,
There is no cell
There is no
service.
point for a kid to take
Right.
a cell with them to the work site, because it will not work, unless you have an international plan, which I don't suggest.
You don't, yeah, and they don't need an international
So
plan.
it will be worthless unless they're just gonna take pictures, of which Aaron's already said it's not a good idea for them to take it. Because
Not to
he
mention the
takes
fact that
lots of pictures.
I take about 3,000 pictures on these trips,
He takes lots of pictures.
and they're much better than a phone.
Yeah, so the only time that they will really have an opportunity to even be on their phone will be about 2 hours a day.
Right.
And that's even if the Wi-Fi works. And sometimes when we run out of Wi-Fi, because they don't have unlimited, they purchase it.
Right.
Sometimes we had access and sometimes we didn't.
Yep.
It won't be on it all the time anyway.
Yeah. Yep. What else?
I think you kind of touched on it briefly, is that I know a lot of people, myself included, will use my device to take pictures. And so, a lot of times we like to take these pictures for our own memories and for our own posts. And so, since they will be in timeout, right, like what should they do about that? What's the plan to let them keep some of those memories?
So I have a camera with me all the time. Students who've been with me before, I have a camera with me all the time. Usually, multiple leaders have cameras, and usually there are some students who will also bring a camera. So we're pretty well covered.
Right.
Pretty well covered. And if somebody says, "Hey, can you take a picture of this really cool tree?" Absolutely, absolutely. No problem. I love digital photography because I can take 1 million pictures. Anything else? Too soon. Too soon. I'm only going to give you a pass on that because it's your birthday.
I was just thinking about it. I just feel like it was bad. Like, we lost it on rafting, and then we lost it in Alaska. Lost Florida. Yeah, and we're Alaska.
Another question that I frequently get is first aid. We have a first aid kit with us all the time, multiple first aid kits with us, because we're going to have a medical part. We'll have doctors and nurses with us all the time as well. So we have built-in medical care.
Is the medical included in that 45 tickets?
Yes. Yep. Sure is.
Aaron, how remote are we talking about? Kind of like, where you be in Guatemala City? So are we talking like a couple hours away from?
So, probably a better question for you.
The village, our place is about 8 hours away. And so this Sunday after church, we will drive 8 hours for our place. And from that place, the drive will be half hour, 45 minutes every day to the village, work in the village, and drive back. The largest is 45 minutes, and the closer will be 15 minutes.
The villages themselves are fairly remote, but close to Rio Dulce, which is a big town.
Yep.
So just in context, like your base camp is so many hours from Guatemala, and then from your base camp, you then branch out.
Yeah,
correct?
our retreat center would be like the hub of the wheel,
Right.
and the villages are the spokes,
There you
and
go.
we just go out to the spokes. But even in Rio Dulce, healthcare, anything that we would need, grocery store,
Yeah, we have there.
yeah,
It's a small town, but we have everything.
yeah.
I know nothing about Guatemala, so we talking about these villages are out in the forest. What's the terrain like? You see what I'm saying?
Usually, the roads are dirt roads,
Four-wheel drive.
four-wheel drive, and only in some cases four-wheel drive.
Yeah,
Most
maybe
cases.
two of.
Yeah.
Well, no, we don't know still, but we will. But
Yeah,
Danson wants to add pavement route for them. I think if the plans keep going like we are, 2 of them will be pavement road. Maybe 1 or 2 will be dirt drive, and maybe one is four-wheel drive.
These villages are, and this is what we're talking about. These villages are thatched roof, dirt floor villages. The people in villages where we're going are descendants, are Mayan descendant, and so they don't even speak Spanish. They speak a different language, and so when we speak to adults, most of the kids know Spanish, but when we speak to adults, whatever we say gets translated to Spanish and then translated once more into their native language. And so that's an interesting dynamic in and of itself, is that they're speaking a different language than even we're trying to speak. But it's always a great thing.
And the drive is safe and are beautiful places.
Yeah.
They live in a very hard poverty, but they live in a beautiful spots.
Yep. It's the most beautiful place I've ever been. Yep.
So can we go, when we go online to a church, will we be able to see like pictures and stuff like that? Or like even, can we see pictures from when it offers?
I have an album from 2019 of pictures that I'll be more than happy to share, and you can see.
It'll just kind of show us.
Yeah, you can see in the city, you can see in the villages, the retreat center. It gives a pretty good. There's also
Online are some.
I also have on YouTube. I think it's on YouTube. I have our 2019 recap video. It's about 6 minutes long. It'll give a pretty good idea. I'm a much better video editor than I was then, and so you'll need to give me a pass. So it's not bad, but it's not up to my standards now. But that'll give you a pretty good idea of what we do. Anything else? Of course. I mean, all of you should have my email, my phone number, or have a way to get it. But I think everybody does. And please, if you don't feel comfortable asking a question now, you can most certainly call or email or text or put up the bat signal, and I'll be glad to answer your questions. The last thing that I have for you is we were one of the reasons that David and Faviola are here is to get support, and so I hadn't even planned on saying it, but if you have a toe in your heart to sow into their ministry, there's a way to do that. Christmas is coming, and they're throwing a Christmas party for kids in villages, and they need help with that as well as the regular maintenance of the feeding program. And so if that's interesting to you, even if it's just one time, maybe you're getting the bonus and you want to tithe part of that bonus, there's a way to do that. And so, there's no pressure to, but if that's something that's interesting to you, I can help with that too. And that will, one thing that I have learned, one of the things I've learned, is that the dollar goes very far
Guatemala
in different places. And what you can do with that dollar affects way more lives than what that dollar can do here. And that's just the truth. And so Heather and I are happy to partner with David and Faviola personally, and we do that every month because we believe very much in what they do. So I wanted to tell you that we practice what we preach, I guess. So if there's nothing else, David, will you pray for us? Would you pray in Spanish and then tell us what it meant in English?
I will try. Padre nuestro, te damos gracias por tu amor. Lovely Father, we want to say thank you for your love. Queremos agradecerte porque tu amor se muestra a través de todos los que estamos en esta noche por Guatemala. Thank you, God, because your love we can see through all of us that we are meeting tonight, thinking in Guatemala. Dios, tú sabes que tenemos un llamado tuyo en nuestra iglesia. You know that we have a call from you in our church. Y Señor, nosotros siempre estamos esperando que las personas que tú escogiste para estar con nosotros, And we always are waiting to the people that you pick for stay with us can be in these teams. Te pido que te los llenes a ellos de sabiduría y pongas en su corazón el deseo de venir si son los que tú has escogido para venir a este viaje. I want to ask you, God, to you put in their hearts, in their minds, the name of Guatemala, if they are the people to you pick for coming this trip. Tú eres Señor de nuestras vidas, you are the Lord of our lives, y yo estoy seguro que tú vas a hacer que tu nombre sea glorificado en lo que se hará. And I'm pretty sure that you will make glorify your name in this trip. Gracias, Dios, y te pido que te quedes con nosotros. Thank you, God, and I will ask you to you stay with us and fill our lives with wisdom. Amen.
Amen. Thank you all.